That's not true. If I can share a story with...
Wait, he trying to step on you, Joe. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But anybody back there, they're going to produce, and Snell look like he's trying to take that starting spot. So
I've either been in third place or had the same record as the winner of the championship. So the slander that comes my way is unnecessary. You got to check the facts, not the spin y'all like to try to put on things. The Indecision Cave.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indecision Cave Show. We're here for our midweek episode, and as you can see, we have a few extra added guests to go along with our hosts, Ashton Jones, Justin Coleman, and Joe Hall. We have 3 added guests this week who have a little bit of extra stuff to add to today's episode. But before we get there, ladies and gentlemen, for the integrity of this show, I have to apologize. On Monday, I came out and I said that Russell Gage was going to have 100 receptions. And what I meant to say was that he was going to have 100 targets. I do believe he was the top wide receiver to take off the waiver wire. But as you saw in the episode, Joe, Ashton, Justin were looking at me like I had 3 heads. For the integrity of this show, I take it back because what I meant was 100 targets. He'd be top 50 in the league in targets. I stand by that. Gentlemen, I apologize. And if you're okay with that, I'd like to move on to the next segment, unless you have something to say, Commissioner.
Nah, we good over here. No interruptions.
man, look, if you're going to be hot take Grace, you got to go all the way, man. No reneging.
I mean, yeah. I don't mind a good hot take. But I need to pick and choose where I'm at because I don't want to disrespect the show with terrible decisions in the Indecision Cave.
And the producer came at me last episode too, so we gonna get past that. He ain't get full context.
Well, we're gonna transition over to our first special guest. His name is man, ladies and gentlemen. If you remember,
my name's John Smith.
His name is John Smith, and ladies and gentlemen, if you remember from our first episode, there was some collusion trade talk going on when Joe said he had one friend in the whole league. He somehow makes a trade with that person and wins the championship.
One friend.
So Mo, I know you know the details, but please walk us through the details and tell us why you think that trade was actually fair.
Gents, again, this is John checking in. And I watched the first episode, and let me apologize for the spin that you guys had. We are living in an era of fake news, and I apologize that you were privy to that fake news. But here's what happened, right? I understood from the very beginning that my team was not strong enough as constructed to win a championship or compete for a championship. And so I looked at Joe's team and I realized, well, okay, I may make this move that for name's sake, it looks like it's a bad trade. But when you added up numbers to numbers, apples to apples, it wasn't that bad for me. And it actually benefited me. I was able to flip some of the people that I got from that trade to my good friend here, Mahon, who gave me the running back that took me through the playoffs. And it was just a beautiful trade. And all I got to say about this is most of y'all criticizing my trade were knocked out of the playoffs or weren't in the playoffs or were not even in the place that I was. So if your name ain't Joe Hall, if your name ain't Ashton Jones, I don't want to hear the slander that you got because I placed higher than you did. Again, thank you for your consideration.
In part to the trade.
What? What?
Because of the trade, you did so well. Yes, you did better than me because you got Adam Thielen for, I don't know who. Who was it? Let me take a look.
We can do the rundown.
I had the worst trade ever, and Joe destroyed me. And granted, you could have your opinion on that, but guess what? I finished higher than all of y'all did on that. And so I could care less how you feel about it. Men lie, women lie.
Standings don't lie.
What?
Standings don't lie?
So
Standings don't lie.
Kyle, this is your first time on the show, but here was the trade. Mo
I'm looking
gave
at it now. I see it. Devontae Adams, Zach Ertz, Jarvis Landry, LaShawn McCoy, Cole Beasley. Is that the trade?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks nuts.
Here's
It
what y'all
still
are
looks
forgetting.
nuts.
It still looks nuts, right? Zach Ertz was hurt for the beginning of the year, and he did not play well. Let's forget his name and just remember that stat-wise, he did not play well.
You didn't know that. You don't have the ability to predict things. You traded a top 3 tight end for Malcolm Brown.
Well, I predicted that I'd do better than you, and I did.
Oh my.
So,
well,
the point being is, again, Devontae did well for Joe at the end, but if I had Devontae and the rest of the people, I would have lost most of my games in the beginning, and I would have been out of the playoff hunt. By making this trade, I made myself competitive at the end. And then I'm just looking at the history of the league. Like, the last 3 years, I've either been in third place or had the same record as the winner of the championship. So the slander that comes my way is unnecessary. You got to check the facts, not the spin y'all like to try to put on things. The Indecision Cave has its selected people. And granted, I know LSD, y'all like to do y'all thing, but regardless, light-skinned delegation, sorry. Y'all
okay.
are your proper name.
Okay.
Gotta specify in that event.
I thought you were talking about a drug. My fault.
Sorry. No, I don't do drugs.
thanks.
Oh,
Pastor
also,
John.
real fast on the side, me and Mo did have a bet last year because I came at him so heavy on the trade, and it was that Dalvin Cook and AJ Green would be better than D.D. Westbrook and Tyler Boyd. And my man Dalvin Cook did better on his own than those two players. Just want to call that out there.
Facts.
He offered, it was food. It was food. So whenever you're back in CT,
Mm-hmm. You are
but
absolutely
AJ Green did do me dirty. I thought I was gonna get at least a point from him last year.
My man didn't play a lick.
Didn't play. Now,
Not to
Joe,
Juan.
I mean, Mo seems to be in defense, but the other day, week 1, you said that you kind of took advantage of him. So, I mean, is that facts, or like he's saying he got facts? And I mean, his record shows it, but I mean, you clearly pull the wool over his eyes, yes or no? Your only friend in the league.
So his facts was, as a great GM, he pulled off a smart trade where he wound up being third place in the entire league. My perspective was, yes, I thought that I won the trade, as everyone else thought so as well. But Mo has results on his side that the moves that he pulled off, he was able to be successful too.
Who won last year?
I won.
How well did Devontae
Who drafted
Adams?
Lamar Jackson MVP in the 10th round? That would be me.
Was that the 9th?
Come on.
No, that
it
was the keeper round. That was the keeper round.
So no doubt, the pieces that I got from Mr. John Smith was definitely helpful. But as he mentioned, Ertz and Adams was hurt earlier during the year, so it wasn't a walk in the park. But as you can see, it wasn't collusion. It wasn't lopsided. He did well.
No.
I did well.
I offered it, and here's the one thing that Joe did that probably triggered the trade. I offered it to Joe to begin with, but Joe did say, "Oh no, you just gonna renege," and that probably pushed me over the edge to just say, "Okay, I'm gonna do
My
it."
games.
But
That's one of his.
Yeah,
one of his tactics, Mo. That's a go-to Trader Joe tactic.
absolutely, and that would probably be the only
Mind
thing.
games.
I brought the trade to him, so it's not like he was trying to pull wool over my eyes.
And
he just did it.
Ryan,
He wasn't trying to. He actually did it.
No, he didn't. He didn't. That again, that's a false narrative.
there you go. Don't feed into that.
Because
Ryan already started playing with his trade games.
No, that's
last week.
not true. If I can share a story with,
Wait, he tried to step on you, Joe. Go ahead. Go, Joe. Go ahead.
Joe, you got
tell
the
your
floor.
truth. Tell your truth, Joe.
So I told in the previous episode that Ryan's tactic when it comes to trades is to dance.
Mm-hmm.
wow,
Mm.
He
just doesn't respond.
Oh, I haven't had that experience yet, Mo. So that's an unfortunate. But he doesn't. You come in like, yo, I'll bang for bang. This piece for that piece. What you think? And I'll be like, I don't know. Ryan's like, hey, what do you think about this? And I was like, okay, I could do that. Well, actually, I'm not ready to do that just yet. We'll see next week. Well, look, come on, what's with the dance?
Yeah.
Like, are we going to talk
That's
business?
not a dance. That's not a dance.
That's typical.
I had so the trade that he's talking about is I had CEH go off, and for the whole rest of the weekend, he's sending me positive tweets about CEH. I'm like, okay, the dude is available. Let's have a conversation. And he's like, okay, cool. And so I said, Michael Thomas has to be part of the conversation. He says, straight up. And I said, I'd have to watch the rest of the week. He says, oh, reach out to me when you're done dancing.
Wait.
If I wanted Michael Thomas, I would have taken him ahead of CEH.
Correct.
Clearly, I didn't want
Correct.
the
But
guy.
you let off with, I was giving you props for going with CEH.
Thank you.
Came
I'm a great
with,
drafter. I agree.
if he's someone you want, just send an offer.
Okay, you sent one, and I said I have to watch, and you said
Right.
dance.
So I say you're thinking the target. You called him the target hog for CEH.
Yeah.
I said it's possible. So that's how I'm willing to do that. And then you went into the.
I have to watch and see. I'm not making a bad decision.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not Mo.
Okay,
I'm
but-
not John Smith.
Right.
Again, Ryan, what place were you last year?
You're talking about craziness, man. I had
And
a
what
bunch
was
of
your
injuries
record the
that
year before?
Another bad year, a bunch of
Okay,
injuries. What do you want me to
all right.
say?
All right. So how about you have a good year before you start throwing slander at anybody? Let's just baby step it first.
How many championship trophies do you have?
I have one, you have one. Great.
Same.
Next.
So we're good.
Next.
We're even. Next topic.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are we saying here? What are you saying here? Well, fellas, does anyone have any more questions to direct at John Smith, who's spoken his
one more
truth?
for John Smith. We had previous discussions as we were summarizing this trade. You said that you also sent offers to other people during the league, and they weren't entertaining you. Is that correct?
Oh, no. Yeah. I mean, like, literally this week or the last couple of weeks, Ryan said somebody's available. I said, what would it take? And I think I'm still waiting on the reply.
I don't know what it would take yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I don't know what it would take.
That's my point. Is sometimes, especially in our league, we got a lot of smart people. Everybody is pretty well level-headed. We draft well. We negotiate well. All of those things, like the two slanders that you see, and I put those in quotes. There are two sides to that story. Now, I don't know about the trade, John. That was probably more slanderous, in my opinion, than what happened between me and Joe, because the results have been epic. I don't think E has recovered in the 2 years.
Did we ever talk about the Antonio Brown trade?
Oh,
What trade
what was that one?
That
was
Joe
the
and Deli
trade that, yeah, that was.
That's what
What
set it
was
all
that
off.
one? Wait,
The
what
Joe
was
and
that?
Deli trade. Remember we were at the
No.
gym and Joe got Antonio Brown for like a bag of rice?
Oh, yeah. and then week one he went up for like 17 catches or something in the
Yeah.
first half.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot, I don't remember that.
That's how you traded
I
Joe,
remember
bro. Yes. We can
Oh, I
go
gotta
back
find
and we'll have
Dang,
plenty
we
of
gotta
time to
pull
go
up so
back.
much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well,
Joe's
all right,
always
let me-
making moves, taking
Let me
advantage of the league.
quantify this. For the most part, our league is pretty smart and makes wise decisions.
Yes.
And sometimes when you're in desperate spots and you're under duress, you may not
But
make
you-
the wisest decision.
Props to you and Fitz,
Oh, God.
because you saw a targeted opportunity today with the news with Michael Thomas, and you went to go fishing to see, if I was in panic mode, and you threw a good trade offer. Fitz in
Yeah.
particular was trying to trade a hamstring for an ankle situation. So there you go. Fair, understood. But somebody,
I gotta do my due diligence.
yes, sir. Somebody in this league outside of Fitz and Mr. John Smith offered me their backup tight end and backup running back for Michael Thomas and went
I'm
fishing.
telling you, he has never recovered.
Oh, you gave him away.
Oh, my bad.
We'll have
Anyway.
him on soon. That gentleman.
Yeah.
Ashton,
wait,
Justin,
what year-
Joe. Yes.
Yo, wait, hold on. What year was that Antonio Brown trade?
Dog, stand by. I forget because it was I would never forget it because we went to Sliders
Yeah.
and it was
So it must have been
the
2017.
Steelers were playing the Titans and Antonio Brown went berserk in the first half.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But to answer your question, Joe, it's hard to pull off a trade in our league. You really have to. Everybody wants to feel like they won the trade, and you use the terminology dancing. I don't call it dancing per se. I just think
you don't.
everybody is.
You don't know. It's just
no one does really.
No,
honestly,
it's the host.
And I'm gonna
It's
say,
just the host.
no, well, that's your experience. I don't even get
You
a
just
response.
get left on red.
Yeah.
Right.
We've
But
actually executed some great trades, so don't do that. We've done great work together.
But I think going forward, we really got to find an opportunity for it not to be as difficult to make moves with each other, because it doesn't matter how somebody else perceives the trade. It matters the results afterwards. And some of us are so afraid of the slander that will come from a trade that we won't even make a move. Because, I mean, that chat alone, man, sometimes I pick up my phone and it's 130 messages. And I'm like, who did what? Something.
I found the trade.
Ooh,
I found it.
This
Yeah.
won't be
I
good.
found it. So, I hate fantasy football, which was Deli's name at the time, and
Understandably.
top dog. So, Deli traded Antonio Brown, Doug Baldwin, and Jay Ajayi for Larry Fitzgerald, Golden Tate, James White, and Joe Mixon.
No, that's terrible. That was terrible.
We don't got the stats from that year.
Yeah.
That's Antonio Brown.
But Doug Baldwin and Antonio Brown were his two best players on his team, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so what I think is he got two running backs. I can see why Deli did it. It's a bad trade, but he needed running backs, and he got Mixon and James White, which James White was good for 10 to 15 points every game with Brady as his quarterback. And then Mixon is probably the biggest tease in fantasy. Because every year,
if I'm not mistaken, he went 2-10 that year, Mo. That's how good of the trade was. He went 2-10.
Deli?
Yeah.
But Deli has always struggled in fantasy football.
Mr. Smith, be nice. Be nice.
No,
I don't know how he does it.
No. It's not. That's not shade. Like, he'll have a great team, and it's just like something happens.
Like he'll be like he'll fall victim to like a schedule. So like he'll like 140, and the person he plays on 141.
Yeah,
like it's stuff like that. It's bad beats.
Bad beats for our man. Gentlemen, any questions for Mr. John Smith?
You played one of the members on this call this week. What are your thoughts on that game that you had this past week?
Oh, I knew I was gonna win. No disrespect. Wow. Like, he's great. Justin is probably the most consistent and the person I least want to play. Him and Mahon is probably the two I least want to play in the league. My record is not as great against Ace, but those two teams, they always have strong teams. They always have, and they seem to go off when they play me. But, no, I'm confident in my team this year. I think we've built a solid squad that's, it's the luck of the draw towards the end, but we're going to be in contention, barring injuries.
There you go. Well, we wish you the best of luck. And ladies and gentlemen, when we get back from this commercial break, we'll have Kyle and Mahon talking about their matchup of the week. Stay tuned with the Indecision Cave. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indecision Cave. We just had a nice hearty discussion about the trade that maybe wasn't as bad as we thought it was. You can decide, I guess. But now we're going to move on to a next segment that we're going to have every week. And we're going to feature a matchup of the week from two of our friends within the Indecision Cave. And so this week, we have Kyle, a devout Patriots fan. And you heard him on the first episode just ranting and raving. That's his specialty.
We have a group chat that we talk through year round, so it feels like a family. It's definitely big. And
You're gonna talk that shit. Everybody just out here being nice.
And that's one of our league mates, Kyle, my roommate. Yeah, so
Everybody talk about Trader Joe.
yeah, so yeah, I mean that speaks to our league, man. It's pretty funny.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Some dirt to let them know how we started.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I got for y'all.
And then we got Mahon. He's one of our young boys. He's a Giants fan, cousin of the commissioner. Gentlemen, welcome aboard. So Mahon, let's get right to it, man. You're 4-0 in your 4 matchups against Kyle. How have you been so dominant facing this opponent? Like, what is going on?
I mean, it's just matchups. Dating all the way back to even before we started tracking records, Kyle had I think his most dominant team ever. He was like, number 2 in the overall rankings, strong playoff run. I think I was like maybe 6, 7 seed. From there, I think, beat him there, ended up winning the championship. I think just the momentum slid one way, but, I got Darius Slayton and Paris Campbell as my wide receiver 1 and 2 this week since, all my top picks want to get hurt. So, it could be Kyle's year.
It could be Kyle's year to rate the shit.
Yeah, it's always I'll be 10-2, and then they'll have Sidney Rice go off. It's like, why does Sidney Rice have 35 points?
Yeah, no, it's pretty ridiculous, Mahon. So let's talk about your team a little bit, man. You had a pretty high draft grade, as everyone knows, and so going into this season, what do you like about your team? And what are you guys called again?
The Mahon DeLorean.
Yes, excellent. So tell us about your team. What do you like about it?
So what I like about my team, especially, I mean, to be honest, I think I got the value keeper within all the people that we selected to be keeper. Derrick Henry in the 4th round is a steal. So, unless I was getting somebody, I think I said before, unless I was getting somebody of like, Michael Thomas's caliber in terms of receiver, it wasn't going to hurt to go after another running back because, as waiver wire will point out, the running backs are rare and bare in this league. So playing it with Josh Jacobs, he went off week 1. And, I mean, dealing with a little injuries in terms of receivers right now, but, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, more than capable of carrying the load. Paris Campbell had a good game last week. Kyler's doing his thing, and even if he's not on as a passer in some games, he still has that upside as a rusher. So I think we're in a good spot. And even AP had a decent game.
There it is. So you got a pretty good squad. Kyle,
Yes.
looking at Mahon's team,
Yes.
is there anything you fear about him going into this week?
Yeah, I could probably see. Well, Derrick Henry's playing the worst team in the league, so there's that. I could see Derrick Henry having like 35 points. I could see Darren Waller just going off, having a retro Darren, turning back the clock, having a retro Darren Waller game. Having to start Adrian Peterson week 2 is pretty tough. That's a tough spot to be in. Receivers, I don't know who Paris Campbell is, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. Having Stephon Diggs with Josh Allen, I like that. They had a nice connection on Sunday. That was good to see. I'm pretty happy with my team. I didn't have my 3rd or 4th round picks playing or playing at full strength.
How'd you go?
I lost.
Who'd you play?
I played you, sir.
Oh, so you're 0-1.
I am 0-1. But I still put up 114 points with all those with my keeper being on IR at the time. But we were able to, still put up a good fight. Only lost by 9 points. I was happy with that showing.
9's a shellacking, if I do say so myself. I was proud of my team. Great job, Ryan and Linda Bedford-Wheelers.
So tell
us about your team, Kyle.
I have my 3rd or 4th round pick shall be playing at full strength this week. I'm hoping that'd be nice. And my keeper is no longer on IR. He's actually in my starting rotation, so that's good to have. I love James White, but I did not want to start him week 1. That was more of a flex injury play. When they have bye weeks, I was looking to play him there, but having to start him week 1 was not ideal. Chase Edmonds, as you guys are speaking of King and Drake, I'm happy to have him because for when Drake goes down week 4, he might be a flex play. Higbee, we'll see. We'll see if that guy's a flash in the pan or if he actually produces long term. And Matt Ryan, I'm happy I got him as a steal. Happy he's on my team.
Now, one interesting move that you made last week that I hope you don't have to make, or maybe you will like, you went with Hunter Renfrow in the flex. Tell us what that was about.
Well, let's see. Cameron Sutton wasn't playing. Who who else was it? Golden Tate was inactive. Antonio Brown is still suspended and not on a team. So I was really grasping at straws. I didn't want to play both New England running backs. That doesn't seem ever to be smart. Unless it's Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. You don't want to play two running backs on the same team typically. And and I didn't know Chase. I didn't know they put so much stock in Chase Edmonds in Arizona. Otherwise, he probably would have gotten the spot. But yeah, that's why Hunter Renfrow got the nod.
Hunter Renfrow, I think he put up about 2.4 points.
No, I think it was 4 on the nose.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what you want in week 1 out of your flex 2.
No, not at all.
So it looks like, Mahon, you have the same issue that Kyle had last week. Your 2 best receivers are out.
Bro, hurt. And, like, Chris Godwin, like, when he had the helmet hit and came out good, I'm like, okay, like, I'm in a good spot this week. Get the report Wednesday morning, he's in concussion protocol. It's just like, why? It's like Kenny Galladay is a maybe. Like, everything's up in the air right now. But if I told you before the draft that I would have to be in a spot to start Darius Slayton and Paris Campbell, honestly, I would have said probably, because that's just how fantasy is.
Now, question: Who had the most points last week in fantasy?
That would be me.
So you're saying your team can go off for an absurd amount of points at any given time?
At 80% strength rather than 30, yes.
Okay, just wondering, just asking questions. That's all.
Mahon, I'm sorry, Ashton. One question, Mahon. As you look at Kyle's roster, right? Puts up a putrid 114, gets shellacked by the New Bedford Whalers. That was obviously going to happen. But as he gets his team back to full strength and faces you, and it's a little bit better, is there anything you're nervous about? I wasn't. But, like, coming from you, like, is there anything you might be nervous about?
Oh, definitely Devontae Adams, because he's Devontae Adams. I think Stephon Diggs has potential, with Josh Allen in Buffalo. Cortland Sutton at full strength, I think he's a very capable and very solid receiver. Mike Evans, if he ends up playing, even, a half strength, Mike Evans is better than most receivers that people have rostered in the league. So, and also Matt Ryan, like, again, as Kyle stated, he's a steal of the draft. I have Matt Ryan in another league. Atlanta's probably going to be very pass heavy this year, and if they're down big, there's nothing stopping Matt Ryan from airing it out to Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, Hayden Hurst, Julio Jones. Take your pick.
You might be onto something. Well, fellas, do we have any more questions to throw at the matchup of the week?
I have a question. So you have Kyler Murray, and he's playing the Washington football team, and I saw, do you have any concerns? Because we saw the guy with the wears the arm sleeve. We struggled against them. He's more experienced. He's a bigger quarterback. So do you have any concerns there, or do you feel like Arizona's just better than the Eagles and that they won't have those same issues in pass protection?
I mean, I don't want to get, I don't want to read into 1 week. I mean, like, Washington's D-line definitely threw the Eagles' offensive line around.
That's putting it gently, yes.
We didn't have Lane Johnson. Come on, bro.
This is Anthony. This is our segment. Excuse me, Sebastian.
That does make me a little nervous. Obviously I'm nervous about Chase Young. I just, I have to have faith in Kyler and I hope that he doesn't get thrown around like the Eagles' offensive line. A lot of work to do there in Philly, but I hope Kyler will make it through.
Yeah, I can see that being the case with him being a better scrambler and probably a better passer than Carson Wentz.
I'd say so, yes.
Hot take of the day. Kyler Murray a better passer than Carson Wentz.
I mean, I think
are you okay with that?
I think they played the same amount. I think they played the same amount of NFL games, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
I thought this was about y'all matchup.
Hey, I got a question.
Dang.
Who's gonna win?
What'd you say, Mo?
Who's gonna win?
Yeah, who's gonna win?
That's for you guys to decide. That's not for me to make that call. I'm just gonna show up and play the best game I can.
I'm thinking the Hartford Hamstrings, just because of the name.
The Hamstrings is a strong name.
Ironically.
Mahon has the past in his favor. He's 4-0 in their matchups. He's hoping that streak continues. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. And when we come back from this commercial break, we'll wrap it up with our start versus sit segment on the Indecision Cave. Welcome back to the Indecision Cave. Another riveting discussion as Mahon and Fitz went back and forth about who was going to win in the matchup of the week. And look at here, we got Mahon to stick around with us for the last segment of the day, and we're going to talk starts versus sits. So, Joe, we're going to come to you first. Who's a definite start or sit player that you're looking at this week in the fantasy world?
As an Eagles fan, it's not really affecting my rationale here, but Mr. Miles Sanders, running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. I know a lot of people are really scared of hamstrings this year. It's been a lot of those type of injuries the first week. But today, Wednesday, he was a full participant in practice today. So of course, keep track on the injury updates and whether players are limited or full participants in practice. But right now, he looks like full locked and loaded. We're getting our right tackle back, Lane Johnson, which is going to be a big upgrade on our offensive line. So and I expect Wentz to have a good prove it to everybody game in the league. So I think the Eagles will have a good offense, and thusly Miles Sanders will be a good start.
So we're going, despite the hamstring injury, we're all in on Miles Sanders this week.
Yep, full participant.
There we go. Justin, from your perspective, who's someone we got to start or maybe sit this week? Definitely.
I'm gonna give you both. So starting wise, I'm gonna say we gotta put our trust back in Big Trust and go with Mark Ingram. I'd like for him to bounce back this week. Get his share of carries and produce as the Baltimore Ravens wanted him to produce. Sitting wise, I think we gotta put Mr. Anklets to the back burner, aka James Conner. Pretty much because how the Steelers work. What I've seen is they're a plug and play in terms of running back. Pretty much, you could just put anybody back there and they're going to produce. And Snell looked like he's trying to take that starting spot. So even if James Conner's ankle isn't hurt, his pride is a little bit. So I'm going to say keep him on the bench.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin's staple has been whoever his guy is, just use him as a bell cow. So if there's any thought that maybe James Conner's on his way down, and Snell obviously performed well in week 1 against the Giants. If Snell is here to prove it and sticks around, that's a guy to have on your team. So I hear you, and maybe it is time to fade James Conner. Commissioner, Ace Dem, what do you got? Start or sit?
Well, I'm going to speak to a guy that I'm going to start, but I wish I could sit, and that's Melvin Gordon. And regardless if Philip Lindsay plays or not, and even watching Philip Lindsay play last week as I was battling for my fantasy life, and him getting a mild turf toe helped me get my victory last week. Melvin Gordon's playing the Steelers, and we all saw what the Steelers did to Saquon Barkley, and Melvin Gordon's no Saquon. And so that scares me to have to start him because my backup running back is Jarrett McKinnon. So I'm not starting him either.
Yep.
So if anyone has another option and they have Melvin Gordon, sit him because you're probably going to get the same type of results all Giants fans and Saquon Barkley fans thought they had, but actually got. And I'm going to go with 2 receivers that I feel like, and one more person, someone who's not on my team, who played well last week. DK Metcalf has Stephon Gilmore. And Stephon Gilmore's one of the most island-type cornerbacks we've seen since Darrelle Revis and Richard Sherman, and I think he's going to stop DK in his tracks. And so maybe Tyler Lockett might be the start for you guys if anyone has Tyler Lockett. And Deandre Hopkins, he's a plug-in. He's a sit and forget, like set it and forget it. You just start him every week. Even on your bye week, you start DeAndre Hopkins because somewhere he's catching something. So you just don't. And I'm an owner of Christian Kirk, and it hurts me because I was like, oh, D Hop's gonna get a lot of coverage, get doubled a little bit. No, he gets 14 targets.
Yikes.
Christian Kirk, 1 reception, 0 yards. So we all know who Kyler likes. So
start DeAndre Hopkins. Now, Mahon, this is your first time providing a little analysis within the Indecision Cave. Who are you starting or sitting in week 2?
Well, I think, no-brainer, and I mean, not just for name value, but matchup, Derrick Henry, I think he's going to run all over the Jags defense. In terms of sitters, that's a very good question. I'm going to use my squad as an example. Jamison Crowder, not only is he, battling injuries, but the 49ers are also pretty good at defending against the slot, and they're just pretty solid pass defense in general. So that might be a double whammy for Jamison Crowder. I'm going to start him with confidence because, let's be honest, it's not like I have many other healthy options, and even he's not healthy. So that's my analysis.
There you go. Well, everybody's talking starts and sits. And you know who I'm leaning towards sitting this week, gents? I might have to sit Anthony Miller. I was all in on him when I drafted him, and then this week's news has Allen Robinson kind of being a trade target, or someone that might not be happy with this situation, which then makes Anthony Miller the next guy up. I'm actually looking at it the exact opposite way. I think Robinson has made a statement. I think he's going to push Trubisky to step up his game. I don't know what that looks like anymore. At one point in time, I was very confident in Mitchell Trubisky. I was a little nervous as a Packers fan. I'm sorry. That was probably 2 years ago, right? But I think he's going to turn the corner with his relationship with Allen Robinson. And so I think Robinson has a big week, and I think that takes away from the love that Anthony Miller gets. So while I have faith that Anthony Miller ends up turning it around, I think this week in particular, we see a lot of Allen Robinson love, and I shade Anthony Miller. Maybe for this week only. We'll come back and talk about it next week. But Anthony Miller, I'm sitting him this week.
So I have a question for you. Speaking of like shade and talking about shadows, it looked like who do the Bears play? The Giants?
The Bears.
They do.
The Bears are against the Giants, yes, sir.
And I think James Bradbury is the Giants' top corner, and so I think he'll be the one on shadow duty on Allen Robinson, right? And he's not the greatest, but he's a good cornerback. I feel like, if anything, you have Bradbury guarding Allen Robinson. I think that opens the field up for Anthony Miller to go off again. Yeah, against whatever Giants' other secondary person they have, which I'm pretty sure is probably some like rookie or something crazy.
Corey Ballantyne, Logan Ryan, take your pick.
Yeah, Logan Ryan's not half bad. I think my biggest reason for doing that is that Miller had a big year. I had read about him being a guy that was like maybe a must-have kind of flex play all season. And I just think right now the Bears are in a bad place kind of as a franchise a little bit, where like this is a make or break. If you lose Allen Robinson, who's a perennial star, and if he keeps talking negatively about the team, I think it puts them in a weird position, especially now they got the quarterback battle, all that stuff going on. David Montgomery in year 1 wasn't as strong as they expected. I think this is a game that needs to get them back on the right track, and it starts with their elite receiver in Allen Robinson. So I think they got to make him happy. I think they got to force feed him, and I don't know if James Bradbury is the answer for Allen Robinson. So I'm gonna less speak ill about Anthony Miller, but more highly about Allen Robinson, and that's my reason for staying away from Anthony Miller this week. Cool. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's our midweek episode where we're going to take you through a matchup of the week and the start and sit every single week. So tune in. We'll be back on Monday to talk waiver wire claims and probably a few other things. So join us next week in the Indecision Cave.
Oh, wait, ho. How come you got none of your waiver wire claims? Let's talk about it.
Oh, I didn't
put in. You didn't.
I didn't put in any waiver wire claims.
Not for Mr. 100 receptions?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Guys,
Was
didn't
that
put
a
in it.
was that a decoy?
No, 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 no.
Was that you to make me think that you were gonna put a large claim, so I ended up spending $37 on Russell Gage? What's going on? Just trying to understand.
I mean, I like Russell Gage, but if you look at my roster, the one place where I'm pretty strong at is wide receiver. I mean, Calvin Ridley, I put him ahead of Russell Gage, obviously. I think Julian Edelman is going to keep developing his chemistry with Cam Newton, and he's always just going to be a safety valve.
It's a lot of talk there, Ace, but he didn't deny that being a decoy.
No, not a decoy. Not a decoy. What I said was that I'm strong at wide receiver.
Uh-huh.
I was trying to explain to you why Russell Gage might not have been the guy for
What about that guy from the Lions, Cephas or something like that?
Oh, Quintez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't need wide receivers. I was trying to point fans and everybody else that needs wide receivers in the right direction. My biggest issue right now is probably tight end. I mean, Blake Jarwin goes down in the second quarter. And so we're going to start Austin Hooper, who I had projected to have a pretty good season, but in week 1 he has 2.5 points or something like that.
Well, you can holler at E because he was willing to offer his backup tight end in a trade for Michael Thomas. So if you need a tight end,
no. Let me highlight E. Because I need my backup to be the backup to my starting tight end.
There you have it. Mahon.
Austin is going to get some looks. And Njoku's hurt. He's going to get looks.
Well, wish me luck, because if I have a strong tight end with 4 wide receivers, I could be okay, especially because CEH, as Joe knows, might be the steal of the draft.
All right. And also, Jarvis Landry looks like he's hurt with a hip injury, so he might be questionable for Thursday night. So
Austin Hooper, let's get it going, brother. Let's get it going. I will take all those points. Ashton, any more questions to throw my way?
No, I'll wait for your false claims next week on waiver wire pickups.
I'll have more honest claims for the fans, not exactly for me. Next week, as we talk waivers within the Indecision Cave. Mahon, thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Is our producer alive? Is he good?
Bro.
He on the toilet.
Is Asher gonna interrupt like every single one of Ryan's playing the outros?
Right.
It's like Ryan has just the most eloquent outro ever. He's like, hold on, wait a minute.
He's like, hey, wait, I have a question. Why didn't you get your waiver claims? I don't know, man.
Honestly, I would have been more aggressive with the wire this week had I known that more of my receivers were gonna get hurt.
Yo, I got receivers. I don't really, so don't come looking for me. Actually,
bro, I'm just looking at my team, and it's like I need another running back, and
bro, you and me
I ain't
both.
seeing it, huh? Oh, you and me both, bro. Yeah, no, I mean, Le'Veon Bell not playing well and then going on the IR was not cool.
Well, Frank Gore's still out there.
I don't even know why you put Le'Veon.
Bro, because I thought that they were going to stink and he was just going to check down, and Le'Veon's a great receiver.
Nah, I did see Sam Darnold throw actually like a sideline route to Le'Veon. I was like, what receiver is that? I was like, oh, no, that's Le'Veon. They were serious about him being a receiver, kind of like Jarrett McKinnon.
Everything I saw was Le'Veon regression.
Yeah, Le'Veon is someone I actively avoided in drafts.
Yeah, basically all Jet players I actively avoided.
Whoa, hold on. Crowder did all right for me.
It's week
He
1.
did more than all right. Yeah, Crowder gets targets. He gets targets. And
I'm not going to lie, though. Like, heading into Monday night, I was nervous because I figured, like, Big Ben he did destroy the Giants' defense. But, like, I thought Slayton wasn't going to get any love. That first CD came, and I'm just like, thank you, God. And then Slayton just continued to go off.
Yeah, man.
But I'm also thinking, like, poor Deli, yo.
You can't say poor Deli when he traded Antonio Brown. The guy made himself poor. Like, he made himself poor, definitely.
Yeah, I really hope Deshaun Jackson goes off.
Is he on your team?
Bro, what's up with him? They had him on like a snap count, but he said he's fully healthy. Like, why is Deshaun Jackson not playing?
Probably the Hitler
Well,
tax.
I think. Yeah. Howie Rose was like, "Nah, fam." Jeff Lloyd was like, "Nah, fam. I'm Jewish, dog." Nah, I think they just like him not having a healthy season in so many years and him being old. I think they're just trying to, and coming off injury, they're just trying to be like, we want you later on in the season versus early on. And so
I could see that. And
so
I think we thought the Washington football team was sweet. So we thought we can get our rookies in there to get some snaps and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Not with that
They got
front
snapped
seven.
all right.
8 sacks.
Yeah, that front seven is dangerous.
Yeah.
they had Carson seeing ghosts.
Is
But
it?
we also had a rookie who was never supposed to start, our left tackle, first round pick from last year, injured reserve, our starting right guard, injured reserve, the left tackle we had to sign off a free agency, 38 years old. It's just like, God,
Give it time. Greg
Chase
work
Young
on
was
carry on.
working Jason Peters, working him.
It was a crime scene in Washington. Like, it was bad.
Yeah, it had me thinking maybe I should pick up their defense, but
They
it is what
should,
it is.
I'm gonna say they'll probably have like 3 other games similar to that.
I hope not.
All right, y'all. I'm a dip. This definitely was a good one. Maybe one of my favorites.
Yes, sir. And
all right.
we'll get Banks on next week, and then another matchup.
Right.
So we'll rock and roll.
Yeah. Let me know when Mahon come out from the dead. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I'll call him, man.
All right.
Also,
have a good night.
Also, we should probably look at getting this just on Apple Podcasts, people can listen versus having to like actively open up YouTube and watch it.
Okay.
Well, I guess I know how to do that because I asked Eugene last week. He sent me the link. I just did nothing with it.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, man. But no, this week was good.
Yeah, 2 good episodes. Mahon, thank you, my man. I appreciate you.
Anytime.
Have a good night, sir.
Take care, yo.
Justin?
Yo, play your 2K game, yo.
Eventually. I mean, I'm off this week. I'll play tomorrow morning.
If you want Brandon Ingram, let me know.
But
Respectfully. Good night, fellas.
All right,
All right, y'all.
All right, respectfully.